Good morning, Judy.
Good morning, Rennie.
Welcome to the WEBB Remedy Podcast. And I'm just wondering if you could tell me, what is a laughing monita?
So, Laughing Monitos is a company dedicated to help children from 0 to 3 years of age meet crucial developmental milestones through play.
Good morning, everyone in podcast land. I am Rennie Orr, the WEBB Remedy Podcast host and Associate Director of WEBB Squared. And Stephanie is out today, so you won't hear her wonderful laughter in our conversation. But I'm joined today by Judy Batista. She's a WEBB Squared board member, and we're very thankful to have her on our board. And Judy is also a speech language pathologist and an entrepreneur. Welcome to the podcast, Judy.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for the opportunity to share about Laughing Monitos.
Yes, I loved your explanation about it, and I'm just wondering if you wanted to share with us a little bit about your journey to creating Laughing Monitas and your journey as an entrepreneur.
Awesome. Well, so I started Laughing Monitos last year in 2023. I've been a speech pathologist for over 16 years. I've been practicing in the clinical setting, so hospitals that's been my main set of experience. And so I decided that I wanted to do something a little bit different, make a greater impact, and leave the corporate world, mainly because of racial discrimination issues that I was facing here. So I embarked on this journey. I have a lot of experience clinically, but when it came to business, I had never opened up a business in that sense. So I needed help from just understanding how to register my business, how to get started, how to pick out a name, and the licensure and the insurance. And so all that I wanted to go in at least having some knowledge. And so I applied for Chatham Spark, which is a program that is offered by the Small Business Center here in Chatham County. And I took, I believe it was 10-week course, and we learned pretty much all the basics of starting your business. And that's how I got started.
That sounds great. I know several of our entrepreneurs who have received services and care from WEBB Squared have also taken Spark. So I'm glad that you've all had that experience.
Yeah, it was great.
Were you starting your business simultaneously?
Yes, I was doing both, still going to the hospital and working my full-time job, and then working till 3 a.m., working on this side hustle, like my husband calls it, Laughing Monitos. And then at some point, probably in the beginning of 2024, my husband and I sat down. I was at my cap for my mental health and what I was experiencing at the hospital that I was working at. So I told him, I don't think I am the best version of myself because of what I am facing. And so if you can support me in this journey, that would be great. And I quit my full-time job and decided this would be my full-time. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there any specific challenge that you feel like you faced as you were starting your business? And because I think that oftentimes entrepreneurs kind of feel like they have to go at it alone. And when they make mistakes, maybe they internalize that. And so I'm just wondering, like, if there's any experience you had that you feel like you'd like to share about maybe some setback that you had, or, and then just like how you overcame it.
Sure. Aside from, I think the biggest part of entrepreneurship and finding support is that you will find a lot of people that are willing to give you advice, but that advice is not necessarily always the best. And sometimes you may be running these trial and errors just because someone gave you this advice, and so you're doing all these things. I would say that to all the entrepreneurs, if you are going to have a mentor that understands your business, understands what it is that you do if you are a professional. So really understands and can dive into that world a little bit more so that you're not wasting time doing lots of things. So one of the advice that I got was to go out into like fresh markets and stuff like that and advertise my business. And I found that no one was really interested in that setting to learn about speech and language. It's almost like having a dentist in the middle of a farmer's market. And so at that point, I was just taking all the advice from people that understood business. So, but then I realized I'm like, this is not my setting. This is not my target market. This is not, how am I going to get clients or leads and turn them into sales when this is not my market? So I did a couple of those, and those were weekends where I spent preparing and spending money on flyers and spending money on just marketing stuff that really wasn't targeting the right people. So I think if you're going to choose a mentor that is going to dedicate the time to learn about your business, understand what it is specifically that you do in order to get the best advice. And not every advice is going to be applicable to your business or the best, but it's closer to what the gains or the positives that you want to get from it.
Yeah, I know we've kind of had that experience starting up WEBB Squared as a nonprofit. We have people who come in and out who mean well, but some of their advice isn't necessarily fits the culture we want to create
You're right.
or the mission that we are out there. And so it's been a very, how do you want to say it? It's been a very experiential sort of process. And do you feel that same about your business? Is that you're constantly learning and trying things, and then that doesn't work, and then you pivot?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you have to be open to that because it's all trial and error. But I think, so yeah, knowing that there are going to be moments of failure. If you go in thinking that it's just going to be, you register your business, you start working, and you're going to be like this rich person making all this money, that is probably the worst mentality to go into. You're going to be quickly disappointed, and you're going to probably be more likely to quit. So if you go in with a mindset where you understand the risk that it entails to be an entrepreneur, and knowing that those risks are high. So you're going to have some trial and errors that you're going to have to cross out and say, I tried that multiple times, didn't work. I'm going to move forward to the next thing.
Well, you talk about risks. I think I'm just wondering, like, what is your advice for staying motivated and being focused on the goals of your mission when you might have to pivot and you might have to change direction a few times in order to get your stride? And, I think some people would go away feeling as a failure and maybe giving up, but, I think that that's part of the process. So what do you personally do to stay motivated?
So that's a great question. And I think something that often happens is just that crushing feeling of, I failed at this specific task Should I just throw in the towel and call it quits and just find myself a stable 9 to 5 job? My motivation is my family, number one. I I love being a mom. I love being a role model to my child. I love I think the support from my spouse, my sister, my family members that are always supporting me, encouraging me, giving me great ideas. All that plays into what motivates me every day. And then I also think the that sense of community within the entrepreneurial world, you realize that your daily friends that you have drinks and invite to your birthday parties are going to be completely different from the ones that you bring close to your business. Their mentality is completely different, and you just share things with them. They understand pricing, they understand your value. So the feedback that you get from them is going to be completely different from maybe a friend. I remember when I first started, just pricing was such a big issue in the sense that I felt that I was undervaluing my services, and I was more so trying to price my services based on what my friends could afford. Like, hey, you have kids, how much would you afford? And then I did another program, Echo Entrepreneurs in Durham, and Gerard Staton, he was my advisor then. He said, not every one of your friends is going to be your target market. And you need to understand that. Like, just because they can't afford you does not mean that you have to devalue the services that you're providing. And once I understood that, and I'm like, you're right, it is worth more than this much. And hearing it from several people, professionals, they were like, you're really underpaying yourself. You need to price it up. Parents will pay for it. And ever since, I mean, I've had no parent complain about the amount that they're paying, because they know the value that they're going to get in return. It's an investment to their child's future. And so parents always see it as there's no price to put on that, price tag to put on that. So yeah, my family, my community of entrepreneurs, those are the things that keep me motivated every single day to keep doing this.
Thanks for sharing all of that. You're just making me feel warm and cozy inside. I'm glad that you're part of our community as well.
Yeah.
So this next question or conversation topic, I think is really important. As an entrepreneur, you're your own boss, and you're responsible for not just providing the services to your clients, but you're of all the small details that go into running a business, paying yourself, paying other people who are working with you, HR, you're responsible for all your own marketing and all of your, leads and following up and, all those little details. And we find this too, being our own bosses at WEBB Squared, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And and then you also have a family and you also have responsibilities outside of work. How do you prioritize your own self-care? Because your business becomes part of your identity, but yeah, you're still separate from that. How do you prioritize your self-care and avoid burnout in your life as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as a magnificent woman going out there with a fantastic mission?
Thank you. Yeah, I think that is an ongoing challenge, and that's still something that every single day I have to work on. My family reminds me of, hey, you've been doing this for a few hours now. Are you going to join us in doing this? So really setting that time aside and thinking of, what am I doing here? Like, am I gaining something at 3 in the morning, sending scheduling emails to be sent out the next morning. Is this really necessary, or can I just get my sleep to stay healthy and stay functioning, to be a parent and to be a wife and a daughter and a sister and all that. So I want to, it is an ongoing battle and challenge. And whatever entrepreneur says, like, oh no, it's not, I don't believe them. I don't believe them, because it is a challenge. Even if you are at a stage where you have teams working on your marketing and your sales, and you're still the owner. You're still the head of this company. So you need to stay on your toes. So I feel that it's an ongoing battle. I feel that I can probably do more to do more self-care, but right now I'm managing. So
That's great. So you said that you started your business in 2023.
23. Yeah, last
So
year.
you're still pretty new.
Yes.
I often think at WEBB Squared, like we went through that infancy stage where we're babies laying on our backs, kicking our legs up and going like, oh, somebody pick me up and hold me, right?
Yeah.
And lately I've been feeling like sometimes that we've moved from the baby to like the toddler stage where we're still not quite there. We still have some things to figure out, but we can reach up and grab stuff ourselves a little bit. Do you have any useful metaphors like that around your own journey as an entrepreneur? And
Yeah, that's a good one. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but I will say maybe like the turtle and the hare, like just slow and steady will get you there, and not otherwise you become very manic, and you become hyper focused and almost like obsessive. So I definitely take on that metaphor of like just slow and steady, like the turtle will get you there. You will have more time to analyze your mistakes and gain experience from each of those mistakes to move forward, versus being out of control, trying to just beat the clock. When do you have time to learn from those mistakes? So that would be the metaphor for it.
Cool.
Yes.
do you, as we move into the end of 2024, 2025, are there any things that you hope that you'll be implementing or changing up or adding to your business this in the next year?
Yeah, so one of the things that I started doing, so currently I have a contract with Durham County, and through the Economic Development Department in Durham, they facilitated a connection with the Child Care Association, which is the governing entity that governs anything related to child care facilities. So being I am now a provider, a educational provider to all child care providers in Durham County. So I offer them educational workshops on speech and language development for 3 and 4 year olds. So I'm now transitioning into this additional stream of revenue, which is allowing me to teach not only educators, but in our contract, we also have parent workshops to teach them what are the red flags to look for. What should a child be doing at age 3? What should they be doing at the end of age 4 before they transition into school? So that is one new thing that I've been doing, which I hope to gain more traction and more more contracts, hopefully from different counties. I am bilingual, so my first language is Spanish, and I know that our community, our Spanish speaking community, is one who really needs help in this area when it comes to child development. So I'm hoping to get additional contracts in some of those counties that allow us to kind of spread the word of what it is that teachers or providers should be looking for.
May I ask how many clients you have currently?
Currently, we have 5 clients. We run our programs in 8 weeks, like a 8-week program. And so currently we are running one, which we have 5 children and parents participating. We have partnered with NCCU speech and language department. So I have an intern who's been helping with that. And yeah, like just getting more awareness and recognition of Laughing Monitos and what it is that we do. We've definitely gained that. So yeah, right now, and it kind of goes in waves. Like I've definitely, from when I started to where I am now, it's only my sales are uptrending. So I'm happy about that.
Well, I think we're getting close to wrapping up our conversation here. I'm just going to throw this out here. What advice would you give to a young man or young woman setting out, starting their entrepreneur journey?
All right, let's see. So the first one I gave was the mentor, making sure that whoever is going to provide you mentorship is someone that is interested and wants to help. The second thing I would say is immersing yourself into some sort of program that teaches you the basics of entrepreneurship. I think that a lot of people that begin a business fail within the first 5 years because they lack that knowledge, they lack that understanding, whether it's even in accounting. Find a course that you can get at least the basic information so that when you are sitting with your accountant, you understand somewhat what your profit and loss statements look like, why you are increasing your marketing percentage, and you definitely should have some knowledge. So there's lots of resources in North Carolina. I mean, we have WEBB Squared, we have Echo Entrepreneurs in Durham, we have just the SBC and the SBDTC. Those are all funded. Well, I know that the SBC and the SBDCT, DTC or something like that, they are funded by our payers. And so using those organizations that can provide you that information and just guidance is crucial, because if you want to do your own guide, there are books that you can follow and create your own business from start to end through these resources. So take a course. Yes.
Great advice. Great advice. So, lastly, most importantly, how do people find you?
Yes.
Or where do they find you, and how do they find you?
Thank you. So I have partnered with Kidzu Children's Museum in Chapel Hill. So currently they are doing some relocation, so you can find us on their website, but we also have a website, laughingmonitos.com. You can find us on Instagram as Laughing Monitos, on Facebook, Laughing Monitos as well. We are also on LinkedIn. And if you need to email me, laughingmonitos@gmail.com. We also have a phone number. It is 919-904-4476. So for anyone that is having any questions, doubts about their child's development, please reach out. The earlier you do, the better it is for your child. So you can reach us many different ways.
Judy, thank you so much for, coming in, having this conversation. I feel like it's been I learned more about you, and truthfully, you're one of the most sparkly people I know.
Thank
You have a
you.
lot of light and
Thank you.
a lot of energy that just flows and radiates through you. And I always feel like an honor whenever I'm talking
Oh,
with
thank
you.
you, Renee. That means a
So,
lot. Thank you.
we always close with just giving a moment of gratitude. So, would you like to join me in that today?
Absolutely.
Okay, well,
Yes.
here's our moment of gratitude.
My moment of gratitude currently would be for, I think because we're living in the moment, for our democracy and our freedom and having choices to vote. So currently that is what I'm feeling. We are getting close to an election and we need people to go out and vote. So I am grateful for democracy. I am grateful for having a choice to vote for those who align with my values and morals.
Thank you, Judy. I feel like I already shared my moment of gratitude a little earlier when I was talking about how sparkly and how much I appreciate you and our community and our circle. But I just want to just reinforce that and just say, Judy, today I'm just really grateful for you and all that you bring to WEBB Squared and the questions you ask and how you try to keep us on the straight and narrow in our board meetings and stuff. So I'm just very, very, very honored that you joined me today for
Thank
this
you.
podcast conversation. And I'm also grateful this is my first interview I've done with an entrepreneur. My conversations are always with Stephanie. So anyway, Stephanie's not here. She usually closes us out with our motto for the podcast. And, this podcast is a mindset shifting project of WEBB Squared. It's our way of talking about issues of entrepreneurial mindset and things that entrepreneurs might face. And so Stephanie always closes out with the same motto. Our evolution begins with dialogue. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the WEBB Remedy Podcast, a mindset shifting project of WEBB Squared. Wealth Through Entrepreneurship for Black and Brown Businesses is a North Carolina nonprofit located in Chatham County. We offer incubator accelerator business services to Black and BIPOC entrepreneurs. Our podcast hosts are Stephanie Terry and Rennie Orr, the co-founders of WEBB Squared. We realize that building an ecosystem of support is critical to achieving our mission. Your donation to WEBB supports the podcast, WEBB's coaching services, and the promotion of the businesses and entrepreneurs we serve. To learn more about WEBB Squared, please visit our website at webbsquared.org.